Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Modern, and after a long break, I'm finally back with videos. The holidays, let's just say, have gotten the best of me. I've been sick, plus regionals took a lot out of me too, but basically, yeah, I've been sick, and my internet hasn't been doing too good, so I've tried recording a couple of battles, and let's just say that my internet didn't like me, and I lost a couple. So yeah, it hasn't been working. I haven't been able to record, plus I've been sick, so it's been a little bit hard. I didn't want to give you guys anything where I'm just all coughing and sneezing all episode. I'm going to try my best right now. But yeah, we're finally back. We got Battle Spot. Still using my San Jose team. I know I only did one episode with it, but we're still using it. Pretty fun team. There's a couple of things I like about it, a couple of things I don't like about it, but still pretty good team in my opinion. I really like the Raichu Tapu Koko core, or not core, just duo. They're very strong. Let's see. First opponent going to be Silver Shadows. They were just under 1600 ratings. They're going to have Araquanid, Magnezone, Gyarados, Gigalith, Tapu Bulu, and Marowak. So straight off the bat, sort of a scary team. Marowak, just by itself, is a pretty good check to a lot of my team, especially when it's paired with a water type like Gyarados or Araquanid. Now, I'm not super scared of it because Tapu Lele does a pretty good job here just against everything, just because it hits everything super strong neutrally. And what else do I want to bring? Tapu Lele, Crocodile. Yeah, because I think Crocodile Z-move is going to be good. I'll bring Tapu Koko in the back. If you don't know, I'm running the Focus Sash, so let's say Gyarados gets set up or something. I can survive an attack with Focus Sash. I also carry Discharge if I need to go for that as well. And then for my last Pokemon, I'm actually going to bring my Goodra. Normally I'd go and bring Celesteela, but the fact that they have the Magnezone means that I don't want to get locked in. Plus, Goodra really deals with everything on his team very well. Araquanid can't really hit me hard. And everything else, like Marowak and Bulu, I can sort of just one-shot with, like, Lele. And I actually have Sludge Bomb on Goodra, too, so if I end up against Bulu, obviously I have that. But, like, against Magnezone and Araquanid, or sorry, against Magnezone and Marowak and Gigalith, Tapu Lele's pretty good. My opponent's going to lead off with Bulu plus Magnezone, so pretty scary lead matchup right here. Magnezone is known to carry a bunch of different sets. Some opt to run something like Substitute with Leftovers, just to take advantage of the recovery from Grassy Surge. You are able to get all of your health back in in 2 turns with Leftovers and Grassy Terrain. You actually get all of your health back from Substitute. So yeah, that's like super scary. The Intimidate lead is very good for me here just because my opponent can't really do too much damage with Bulu. My Tapu Lele is very bulky, so yeah, they can't really do anything to it. I'm actually going to switch my Tapu Lele out to Goodra just to protect myself from any potential special attacks from Magnezone, as well as attacks coming from Bulu. And I think I'm also going to Z-move Earthquake the Magnezone. Because even if they go for a Protect here with Magnezone, the only Pokemon that they can potentially switch in is Gyarados. And even if they Protect here, which they actually don't, even if they did Protect, I would still break through their Protect and do about half to them. But they didn't Protect, so maybe there's a potential that they're Sturdy or something. If not, then this is almost definitely a guaranteed one-hit knockout. Even if they have Shuka Berry and like max defense, I think this is still one-hit KOs. And I guess my other hope now is if they go for a Grass attack into my Tapu Lele, I'm in a good position. And they don't actually have the Focus Sash, so get that for free, I guess. Let's see, they go for Horn Leech. It's going to be into Crocodile, but that's completely fine by me. It picks up the knockout, but it's like I said, Goodra can deal with that anyways, so I'm not really scared of it. He's actually Life Orb too, so they might be faster Tapu Bulu. Alright, but anyways, I'm just going to bring in Tapu Lele here. I have absolutely no reason not to do that. Even if they're a faster Tapu Bulu, like I said, I am a bulky Lele, so even with the Life Orb, they shouldn't be able to pick up a knockout, especially since I'm getting rid of Grassy Terrain. Gigalith comes in too, which is also pretty scary, but Oh, and they get the Sand Stream too. That's also, like, not fun. So I think I'm still in a really good position because I don't think Gigalith can one-hit knockout with the... If he has Heavy Slam, he can't pick up a one-hit knockout. I'm just going to Sludge Bomb into Bulu and go for a Psychic. I don't think there's any reason to protect this turn. Just because, I was going to say, if they end up switching out, then I just do damage to whatever comes in. But he actually sends in Marowak, so the big hope right now is that this Gigalith doesn't KO with Heavy Slam, which I don't believe it should. If it has a damage-boosting item, maybe, but I very, very much doubt that. And we also get a Poison on Marowak, which is pretty good. Gigalith, however, is going to go for the Z move, the Rock Z move, Continental Crush. I think? Pretty sure? Yeah, that's what it's called. And I believe this will KO whatever he targets here. I actually don't think Goodra will go down. Okay, and he targets Goodra. I was going to say, I don't think Goodra will go down to this in one shot, because I am super bulky. Yeah, so I actually survived that very easily. And I'm going to take Sandstorm, which sort of sucks right now, because I believe Goodra is in range of a Rock Slide now. But on the bright side, I think that Marowak is almost guaranteed to go down to Psychic now, and even if they protect, I should be in a good position, because I can just go for Dragon Pulse onto Gigalith. Yeah, just Dragon Pulse into Gigalith and a Psychic into Marowak. Now, if they switch into... Oh, that was actually a bad play on my part. I was going to say, if they switch into Tapu Bulu here, that'd be very bad. So, luckily my opponent didn't do that, but if they switched in Tapu Bulu, I'd be in a really bad position. I'm going to openly admit that. Like, if they switched in Bulu there, I don't know how I would have won the game. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have been that bad, because their Marowak still would have took a lot of damage from Psychic. If anything, I'm going to say I'm, like, surprised that they didn't go for a Protect with Marowak there. And now we should still be able to win, I think, because their Bulu, it is Life Orb, so it's dealing damage to itself. The Sand is still up, so it's going to get rid of our Focus Sash on Coco too, but I still have 2 Pokemon left, and the Grassy Surge actually... No, the Grassy Surge actually heals me up too. Let's see. Sandstorm's still going to be up for a few turns, though. I'm actually going to go for a Thunderbolt and a Gigalith and a Protect, because I actually realized I am in a pretty bad position now. But at the very least, I can go for my Electric-type attacks since Marowak's down. But yeah, my hope is that he attacks Tapu Lele here. And Tapu Bulu actually protects, so I guess we win anyways, because if I'm not mistaken, this should okay. That's actually better for me that he protected, because it means that Lele is going to get a bit of HP back. Oh, and Sandstorm actually hits first. Okay, so that means Tapu Koko won't survive through Focus Sash. And unfortunately, the Sandstorm actually just barely misses the Citrus Berry recovery. But now I'm actually in a pretty good position, because I can just freely go for a Thunderbolt into Gigalith and a Psychic into Tapu Bulu. And I'm just going to go for that play because, well, I don't know, should I double into Gigalith? Because if Gigalith doesn't go down, that's bad for me. I mean, 2 turns left to Sandstorm. So, at the very least, if he survives here, then I don't think this is going to KO. I think this needs to KO if I want to win, is what I'm trying to say. If it survives, I can, like, yeah, he's taking that. He gets paralyzed, so that's at least a chance. Maybe if Moonblast can, like, crit, I have a chance, too. special attack drop, that's not going to matter. He goes for Horn Leech. That's going to be into Lele. So that's going to KO with the Life Orb. And yeah, we're actually going to lose this match, but... yeah, so what I was saying earlier is I probably should have switched out Gudra. Because Gudra would have been able to one-shot the Bulu. But yeah, this was just a poorly played game on my part. I'm going to admit that. Like, I should have, like, right here, I should have just doubled into the, I should have doubled into Gigalith because I figured it, like, my Thunderbolt wouldn't KO anyways. But yeah, now we just need to, I guess, discharge and hope that I get a full para on Bulu. And I have to go for discharge because, like, even if he has wide guard, I have to risk the discharge here. Because I need to KO Gigalith. It just gives me the best odds. Because if I can paralyze Bulu this turn, I actually have a chance to win. But yeah, I'm not. That's going to definitely KO with the Life Orb. So yeah, that was actually pretty interesting first match, I would say. I'm really not sure why my opponent just openly Horn Leech, knowing that I could switch into Gudra. I guess I should have just gone for my safest play, which was switching out my Crocodile anyways, but getting the attack off onto Magnezone was pretty important too. I guess it really wasn't that important, though, given that Gudra would win in that trade anyways. Like, really, now that I think about it, really, I should have just switched out Crocodile the first turn, because Crocodile beat pretty much everything on his team that he brought except the Tapu Bulu. But yeah, we're going to take a loss. It is our first battle in a couple of weeks, though, so I don't really blame myself. Unfortunately, we're going to be down to like 1630. That's actually a horrible rating, but I mean, we're going to do our best to win this next one. Oh, and we're actually playing Sohaib, so he's pretty good. And he's running a Trick Room Gengar team, so that's also pretty interesting. On the bright side, though, a Crocodile lead, Crocodile plus Tapu Koko lead looks very scary for his team to deal with. And then Gudra's also super good here, and I'm thinking about going Celesteela here too. Yeah, I'm going to go with Celesteela. Yeah, so the idea behind this is Gengar can't really do too much to, like, it'll do a lot of damage to Lele, but it won't be able to knock out, and with Citrus Berry, I don't believe they'll be able to 2-hit KO, unless they're, like, I don't know, because they look like they'd be a Trick Room Gengar on their team, so maybe they're modest or slow or something, but, like, leading Crocodile just means that I can go straight for a taunt onto either Gengar or the Porygon, depending on what he leads. And a Z-move would actually do a lot of damage to anything that he leads next to his Trick Room setter. So, maybe if I want to play that game, maybe if I want them to, or like, if I'll just let them set up Trick Room, that could be decent for me. And he actually leads Porygon 2 plus Machamp. So, my guess here is Machamp is going to survive my Psychic if I go for it. And if he has Heavy Slam, that could put me in a very bad position. So what I'm going to do this first turn is I'm just going to go and double into the Machamp. Yeah, because that's my guess, is that it'll survive a Psychic. And I doubt that they're just going to let me go for a taunt for free either. So, yeah, this is what we're going to go for. We're going to go for the Psychic plus Crunch. Because I highly doubt he'll just protect Machamp and then go for a Trick Room, knowing that I could have taunt. If he and like I was saying earlier, if he goes for a Trick Room, then I could have ended up in this situation where I can just double. And I actually get a free knockout here. So even if he sets up Trick Room, yeah, it's completely fine for me. Because I'd rather have him have a Pokemon down than get like a free 1 knockout on this first turn. And now if he brings out Torkoal or something, I have the Gudra in the back, which is like really, really good against Torkoal. Okay, yeah, and he just brings out Torkoal. So, here's my prediction. He might be Z-move, or he might be, like, Overheat or something on Torkoal, which is very scary. I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to protect my Tapu Lele. No, you know what? I'm going to switch out Lele into Goodra. And protect with Crocodile, because... so, what I was thinking with both of those slots is... I'm going to have to sack either Crocodile or Celesteela. That's almost a given. And I was thinking, if I switch Goodra into Lele, I'm going to take a lot of damage if he goes for a Z move. And if I protect, he could also still do, like, half to me with a Z move. The other thing I was thinking is that he might Ice Beam into Crocodile, which is what he ended up going for. But if he ended up going for that play, I just would have been in a super bad position. Now I'm actually in a pretty good position because Dragon Pulse will do a decent chunk of damage to the Torkoal. Let's see. There's 3 turns of Trick Room left, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just going to Z-move into Torkoal. If he protects or if he doubles into it, then I really don't care. Just because, from what it looks like, he doesn't really have an answer to Goodra here. Solar Beam, that's definitely going to KO Crocodile. No doubt about it. I'm actually surprised that they didn't go for Heat Wave plus Ice Beam, though. I guess they wanted the guaranteed KO. But if I switch into Tapu Lele or something there, then they were in a really bad position, because they really wouldn't be doing any damage to Tapu Lele with a Solar Beam. That does about half to Torkoal, so pretty good. Tapu Lele can come in now, and what do I need to prepare for in the endgame? Because I didn't write down their team, but fortunately, the new feature, you can see their team. Magnezone, Lele, and Gengar. Okay, so looking at what they have, I'm assuming 100%, or almost 100%, that Torkoal is going to be some sort of Z-move. Now, if he has Magnezone in the back, Goodra is completely fine in this position. If he has Lele, then Celesteela beats it. I believe I can just go for a Dragon Pulse and a Protect here. Yeah, I don't think he has Tapu Lele. I think he has Magnezone in the back. He goes for Flamethrower. Sort of interesting why he didn't go for Heat Wave. And a Shadow Ball, too. So, I don't know why he expected me to not protect there. Sort of an obvious play. I didn't really have another play there, though. And I actually get a good roll on Torkoal, so that actually picks up a knockout. And now I think I just win regardless of what he has in the back, because nothing he really had deals with Goodra. And if he has Tapu Lele, then Celesteela just wins the game almost 100%. Just because it can... Oh, and he has Tapu Lele. Okay. I was going to say, because I can just switch in and do whatever I feel like. Yeah, and that's actually exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch in Celesteela. I'm going to go for... I'm assuming just Psychic. Yeah. Yeah, I'll Psychic into Porygon too. I'm not going to taunt just yet, because if he decides to go for a Trick Room or something later, or maybe like a Recover, I don't want him to go straight for that option. And it looks like he's just going to double into me. If he's like Choice Specs Lele or Slow Life Orb Lele, he'll probably pick up the knockout. He actually isn't, though, so I think we just win now. Yeah, because they made the correct prediction, I think. No, okay, never mind. They just went for a Moonblast. They get a crit. Doesn't really matter at this point. Even if they're Life Orb or something on... Or they aren't Life Orb. I was going to say, even if they're like Choice Specs or... I don't even know. Like, if they're like Electric Z-Move or something weird. I don't even know. They pretty much can't win at this point, is what I'm trying to say. And now I'm actually just going to double into the Porygon, I think. Because the only real threat left is Porygon 2, and they just forfeit. Okay. I was going to say, the only real threat at that point was the Porygon 2. And that's just because, really, like, even if Tapu Lele had... Excuse me. Even if Tapu Lele had Thunderbolt or something, it really wouldn't be doing that much damage. And since they weren't Life Orb or anything, that implies that they were probably like Psychic Z-move or maybe some sort of boosting move, and or they had some sort of boosting item. But even if they had that, Heavy Slam would just almost guaranteed one-hit knockout, and if they were bulky, they wouldn't do any damage. So that's what I was thinking there. Porygon 2 was really the only threat that they had. Not to mention that if I was faster, I would get the knockout with Celesteela and get a special defense boost. So even better in that position, because if they just protected and did whatever, I'd still be fine. Let's see, I think I'm actually going to do a third battle, because this video isn't super long. Not that I want a long video, but I think you guys will appreciate a third match. Here, we'll do the Elite Four theme. Alright, 1646 rating. Win-loss, yeah, our win-loss ratio is not very good right now, because we are barely approaching, like, 2/3 of our battles won. So yeah, 66%, not very good, but, you know, I think, I was checking on Pokemon.com, I think there's only, like, 2 weeks of this rating season left, so maybe we'll get a better start next time, and maybe we'll be able to play more consistently. Unfortunately, my team is a little bit outdated, I would say, for the metagame, just because I was preparing for a meta full of, like, Arcanine and Gastrodon, and, after regionals, like, especially with Dallas coming up, and with San Jose being a couple of weeks ago, a couple of things have changed in the meta, and I don't think my team is very good anymore. Like, I like some of the ideas, but I just don't think it works as a team anymore. And that obviously, like, proved to be an issue in the first match, because the guy had, like, a very slow team. If he had Trick Room, that would have been really scary, but he had a very slow team. I had to, like, try to call a lot of 50-50s. I know I played pretty bad, but, like, regardless of that, I think some of that was actually due to me having to play through 50-50s. Just trying to call, like, different leads, trying to lead safely in general. Alright, and hopefully we can find another battle. I'll actually be surprised if I can't find a battle. Yeah, I mean, 1650 really isn't a good rating. I'm gonna be completely honest. That really is not a very good rating, but, yeah, we're gonna see if we can do a little better. At least we're playing against someone in the mid-1700s, so we can get a decent chunk of points if we beat them. Not a very scary team for us to face either. Just because Arcanine Gastrodon, this team really doesn't have an issue with, because Tapu Lele is very good against those. And it's also good against Tapu Koko. Now, if anything, I would say the one thing that scares me here is the Whimsicott, because the Whimsicott can do a lot of damage to Krookodile. It can potentially have Endeavor, so if I want to go and try to, like, one-shot it with Celesteela or something, that could give me some issues. So yeah, what do I want to lead here? I could go Raichu Tapu Koko. That would mean that I have an option to outspeed the Garchomp and one-shot it with a combination of a Z-move Psychic plus a Dazzling Gleam. I have the option to one-shot their Tapu Koko potentially. I can go for Toxic on Gastrodon. I actually like this with Raichu Koko. In the back, definitely bringing Goodra. I think Goodra is good against pretty much everything on his team. And I actually think for the last mon, I'm going to bring Celesteela. Just because having the ground resist is very good, especially if there's something weird like Scarf Garchomp. It would mean that they would be locked into Earthquake, and they wouldn't be able to do any damage. And Tapu Koko, even though it's like super scary for Celesteela, if I can manage to get a special defense boost, then I can potentially win 1v1 as well. So let's see what they lead. Garchomp Whimsicott. Pretty scary lead, especially since we led our double electric lead, but I don't think it'll be that bad. Because I think they have to predict if I'm going for Fake Out or something this turn. Now, if I wanted to, I could Z-move into Whimsicott and go for a Dazzling Gleam, which I don't actually think is a very bad play. The reason I'm going for that is because there's a chance they just protect and Tailwind. They actually don't protect, which is fine. I'd still, like, in this position, I have Focus Sash, Tapu Koko. I'd still rather get rid of their Whimsicott, just because Garchomp really isn't too hard to deal with here. Yeah, because next turn I can just bring in Celesteela, and even if they have Tapu Koko, that's still, like, not a super good position for them. Just because for Tapu Koko, like, I mean, I guess if they have Poison Jab, they could go for that instead of Earthquake, but if they do have Earthquake, then that's bad for them. Whimsicott's going to survive on Sash, Dazzling Gleam comes out, so they're not Scarf Garchomp. That still does about half to Garchomp, too, so I think he's probably Ground Z move. He just goes for Earthquake, though, so that's sort of what we expected. It's just like I said, though, I didn't want to go for the 50-50 and go for the Z move into Garchomp, just because I have answers to it, and there's no way he can, like, for Celesteela, I can KO it with Heavy Slam now. Even if he brings out Tapu Koko, I'm fine with that, because Goodra can come in the later turns. He actually sends out Arcanine, though, so that's actually scary to see right here. Because if he's Z-move or something, he can try to KO Celesteela. Plus, he gets the Intimidate off, so that's also not fun to deal with. Okay, but I don't have another play in this position. I'm just going to go for a Leech Seed into the Garchomp and go for a Protect. If they go for like a Z-move or something, it's like I said, I don't want to switch in Goodra on a potential attack from Garchomp. Not to mention that if they, for some reason, go for Snarl, that could also be very bad for me. Plus, if they have the Z-move, like, I still think I lose here anyways. So yeah, they go for Rock Slide. Hopefully they go for like a Flamethrower and not a Flare Blitz. And hopefully they don't flinch me either. He does have Flare Blitz though, so this most likely means I lose the game. Yeah. Okay, so I lose the game. Unfortunately, my opponent, like, it sucks that I'm already saying this game is over, but that's the sort of lead that I'm talking about where my team doesn't have a very good matchup. Just because, like, yeah, I don't know. It like, leads with Tailwind, if you lead Tailwind plus Garchomp against Raichu, Tapu Koko, you're basically saying, if I call the 50-50 right, I lose. Or, sorry, if they call the 50-50 right, I lose. Because, like, in that position, if I doubled into Garchomp, they wouldn't have had an answer to Raichu plus Tapu Koko, because none of the Pokemon on their team really answer that, except Garchomp. And if I called it right, then I would still have my Raichu. It would be faster than their Garchomp, which, I mean, I guess is a reason they could have gone for Earthquake, but, like, I didn't have another play in that position. Now I just have to Dragon Pulse and hope I can keep protecting with Koko. If I can't, which is very likely, yeah, so they get it. Oh, okay, and he's Ground Z move, so we're actually going to lose. Alright. I wish we didn't have to go through these animations, like, especially since it's the last turn of the battle, there's no way for me to win here. But yeah, like, I don't know, I hate people that have teams like that where they lead something like that and it's a 50-50. Yeah, and he's just going to Snarl, that's going to KO both. Okay, it doesn't KO Goodra, but I'm still losing here, like 100%. Yeah, that's the thing I hate, is when people go for 50-50s like that. Even in a best-of-3 scenario, like, it's not fun to play 50-50s like that. I understand it's, like, that's their team's answer to Raichu plus Koko and stuff like that, but it's just, it is 100% not fun to play against. Like, the guy didn't play around Fake Out, he didn't play around, I mean, I guess he played around Encore, but he didn't play around Fake Out. He didn't play around, like if I had a Z move on Koko or something, they didn't play around Hidden Power Ice. They didn't play around if I just doubled into Garchomp, stuff like that. Which again, like, I can understand, Encore is a very threatening thing on Raichu, but they have a Whimsicott which has Taunt. They have a, what is it? They have Garchomp, which could have potentially been, like, if they had Assault Vest or something. I mean, I don't know their item, but they could have been Sash or something, I guess. But I don't understand why people play like that. It's 50-50s, it's not fun. That's just sort of my opinion, though. Like, I'm a person who builds teams that are weak to stuff like that, which is my fault more than anything. But yeah, we're going to take a second loss today, unfortunately. I decided to do the third game, though. I'm going to be looking for a different team to use, let's put it that way. Because it's funny that every team I have on this channel, I just don't end up liking. I mean, it's obvious I bring it to one event and I say I don't like it, so it's because I've used the team enough, but there's just... It feels like this team could be better than it is. So maybe in the next episode I'll have something changed up. I might change a Pokemon or an item or something somewhere. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please go and leave me a like. Helps me out a lot. And if you want to keep up with all my content as we head towards the future, make sure to check out my social media and hit subscribe. I'm ModernGamer, and thanks for watching, guys.